We're on the road in southeastern Ukraine, between government troops' positions and those of pro-Russian separatists. The ceasefire agreed in Minsk 2 months ago has been observed in many areas, but not here in Shyrokyne. Observers from the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe are holding a meeting with Eduard Bazuryn, a representative of the self-proclaimed Donetsk People's Republic. Alexander Huk, the deputy chief monitor for the OSCE in Ukraine, is demanding that each side retreat 5 kilometers. For the moment, the separatists have held on to power in Shyrokyne, but there are government troops just 500 meters away. Apparently, shooting takes place almost daily. Even for journalists directly on the front, it's unclear exactly what's going on. Bazuryn, however, has no doubt about which side is to blame.
There are constant provocations everywhere where the so-called Ukrainian Volunteer Defense Force is stationed, and not the regular army. We call them nationalistic battalions.
One of the local fighters, whose nom de guerre is Tungus, is also willing to speak in front of the camera. He's not satisfied with the situation.
It's a ceasefire that's valid for us, but not for them. The other side doesn't have any honor, not even the commanders. They're not soldiers either, they're fascists.
We ask Tungus what he would like to see happen.
I want them to leave the whole region of Donetsk. That's all. They should retreat to behind the regional border. People here are fighting for their country. Then there'd be peace and normality.
But this would mean more fighting because currently the separatists only control 40% of the region of Donetsk. Suddenly the calm is over. We rush to safety. The OSCE had negotiated a ceasefire that was supposed to hold during their visit. A journalist from a Russian television station has stepped on a booby trap. Lucky for him that the OSCE is here. 2 of its doctors were able to provide emergency care. The reporter was badly injured but survived. Then there are shots. And more gunfire. We look for cover. We can't tell who's shooting, but it's clear the fighting is escalating. Finally, we flee. Later, the rebel snipers leave their positions, under pressure from the OSCE, it seems. The organization has plenty at stake here, not least its reputation and authority as an international monitor. The observers discuss with Bazuryn who shot first.
I'm not making any judgment.
The OSCE monitors don't jump to conclusions. Their main concern is protecting the 30 civilians who still live in Shyrokyne.
Send my greetings to the Ukrainian President Poroshenko and tell him he should think about how to protect us.
Pro-Russian separatists now patrol her street. But Tatiana Babikova still supports the government in Kiev.
The situation is terrible here. There's no electricity, no water. I don't know what I should do. We don't know whom to pray to. We don't know what to do to stop all this. People, please protect us with your morale. In our region, our children, everyone is demoralized.
The international observers are her last hope. They've brought drinking water for those who still live in the village. The locals don't know when the next delivery of humanitarian aid will arrive. Tatiana Babikova comes back with 2 booklets that she shows to the separatist leader Eduard Bazuryn. She says they provide evidence that this area has belonged to Kiev for 1,000 years.
If the Orthodox Patriarch in Moscow thinks he's responsible for us too, then he should have gone to Putin and asked him not to kill anyone.
What does Putin have to do with this?
Don't you know that there are many Russian fighters here?
The discussion that follows is very telling.
Do you know that I was on Lenin Square in Donetsk from the very beginning? Our people were caught and simply disappeared. To this day, we still don't know what happened to them.
He implies that they were kidnapped by the Ukrainian secret services during the anti-separatist operation.
I know, those are the old Communist Party methods. It's not fair. They're disappearing people.
A simple interchange that conveys the complexity of the current conflict. The war has destroyed Shyrokyne in a matter of weeks. The OSCE is finding it hard to assess the situation.
It is difficult to ascertain from which side it originates. We can clearly say that both sides have fired. And we will now discuss with the commanders in charge what was the cause for this incident and of this breach of the ceasefire that should be in place here since the 15th of February.
This has been the situation for weeks on the Shyrokyne front. We leave and head west, passing the anti-tank barriers set up by the Ukrainian government troops. Ten kilometers further in the industrial hub of Mariupol, we can move freely without the OSCE. Peace has been restored, for now. Ukrainian government troops are currently in control. This sign points to the nearest bunker. The Ukrainian government fears that separatists will try to capture Mariupol, with Russian support. The town lies strategically between the Russian border and the Crimean Peninsula that Russia annexed last year. We head north. The Ukrainian army wants to show us that they're keeping to the ceasefire and have removed heavy artillery as agreed. Lieutenant Viktor Levchenko and his soldiers are on alert. They say fighting could flare up at any time.
This is our defense line if the enemy attacks.
Is he expecting the fighting to resume?
Maybe from the other side. They're shooting first.
That's what the separatists said too. There are still tanks here. It's not clear whether these are allowed by the Minsk agreement or not. It's also not clear whether the government troops would even have a chance against the separatists, who are very well equipped.
This war has to end. This is an invasion. It's been proven that the Russian army attacked us. If they retreat, we'll be able to instill order quickly again. For us, it's hard to fight against such a big country as Russia. But we're not giving up.
The lieutenant is an engineer by profession, not a professional soldier. That's the case for most of the Ukrainians fighting here. Like Maxim Moshora, he's an electrician with 6 children, but he's been living here for weeks.
3 people live here. There's a shelf for food and other things.
It's increasingly clear that this is a show of strength for Ukraine, and much of it is improvised. When needs must, fires are started in a makeshift manner. With greetings from the Zaporozhye hospital kitchen is written on the box. It's a private initiative to organize supplies for Ukrainian volunteer soldiers.
We're really happy about the fact that simple people are sending us stuff like this. I don't know how to say it.
Then he gets lost in his thoughts.
We don't want chaos. We want peace, and then everything will be fine.
Most of the houses in the nearby village of Talakivka are empty. The inhabitants fled in panic. But we meet two who have come back to visit. Nikolai Konishcheva and his wife Yelena. They fled last September when the Ukrainian soldiers arrived.
We need peace. I want to live in my home again.
They've started coming back to visit their home, but they don't dare yet stay overnight because of the soldiers. They don't have much faith in the Ukrainian army. Their fear is that the fighting will begin again.
There were 2 grenade attacks over there.
He takes out a grenade fragment from his pocket to show to us.
I've collected a whole bag of them.
His wife invites us to film inside their home.
Look, a fragment came through the closed door and managed to reach the armchair.
Nevertheless, they refuse to give up hope. They recently bought new geese so that they can start working and living as they used to.
All I want is for peace to return and for mutual understanding.
But right now, no one can tell whether the ceasefire will hold.